Well, good morning there guys. Steve here from Coils and Coins Detecting. Welcome to another beach video. Haven't been out for a while. Been pretty busy with work and various other things. So this is my first swing for probably 3 weeks, I reckon. Getting on to 3 weeks anyway. And I'm pretty excited today too, because for the first time I'm going to be taking this bad boy out. Some of you might recognise that. Gone and got myself a Manticore. So I've been swinging the Equinox 800 for, well, since they came out pretty much, and it's the only machine I've used, and I love that machine. I know it really well. So I'm quite excited to learn a new machine. I'm pretty sure I'm going to find lots of good stuff with it, but it's going to take some hours to get to know it. So I thought I'd start at the beach. Targets aren't as regular or as dense as they are in the bush. In the settings I'm often out in there, and I'll probably use the 800 a fair bit still in those situations. Because there isn't a small coil available for this detector just yet, so I'm waiting for that, and then we'll hit the bush sites as well. All right, I'll show you my setup shortly. I might just start swinging, see if we get some targets, and then we'll take it from there. We'll be back soon. Okay guys, so just getting to know this machine. So I've gone into the menu here, which is the cog. Set my volume to 23. I'm using the headphones today, just because it's a bit noisy with the surf. I've gone into beach general mode. I think we'll just stick with that today. The first time I've used the machine, as I say, so I'm just going to go with defaults. I'm not going to mess around with things too much. I'm going to do a noise cancel, which is quite fast on this machine. Everything's fast on this machine. Boots up a lot quicker than the Equinox ever did. Ground balance I'm going to leave. I'm going to set my recovery to 6. Discrimination patterns and all that stuff, Ferris limits, tones, just going to leave it all default. The one thing I have changed though, where are we, is the tones, I think. Yeah, five region all tones. I think default's 2, so I'm going to go to 5. All right, let's start swinging. We'll see what happens. Sensitivity is the other thing I needed to talk about. So I'm just going to wind the sensitivity up until I get some chatter. I'm thinking probably 23, 24. I think this goes all the way up to, yeah, 35, and it's gone nuts when I wind it up that high. So we're just going to back that off. It's pretty stable around 24, 23. Still a little bit of chatter there, but I might adjust that as I go, just so it's nice and stable. I don't want too much beeping while I'm trying to work out what's going on. All right, let's go, see what happens. So once I've had a bit of a swing of this machine for 2 or 3 hours, I'll just give you some thoughts on the machine, what I think of it, and my findings, like, you know, just how I compare it to the 800, because it's very foreign. It feels nice to swing though. It's quite well balanced, and I like the hand grip, and the construction's nice. It's got the carbon fibre shaft with the cam locks, which is a much nicer system than the old Equinox 800, and also the armrest is fully adjustable. So this is going to be a good machine, I think, to travel with too, which the old 800 definitely wasn't. All right, having said all that, I've got a target. Now the other thing that I was finding difficult with the 800 was I couldn't record very easily with headphones. I had to go to the WM08 module so I could turn headphones on and off real quickly. So I'm interested to know if I can do that with the Manticore, because you can only use the headphones that come with it. They've adopted the headphones, and they've got a proprietary Bluetooth, and you can only use their headphones, which is a bit of a shame. We'll see if that changes down the track. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. So if I turn the Wi-Fi off, turn the headphones off, you should be able to hear this target. 63, 64, nice round dot. Based on what I know and the signals and the little bit I have had to do with things, that's going to be a coin. Now, if I turn headphones back on, how quickly does it pair? That's what I want to know. Pretty much instantly, within 2 seconds. So that's awesome, because the old headphones never did that. It took ages to get those to pair again. So that's something. Okay, let's go into... That's a small target right there. I reckon that's a coin for sure. Sounds pretty good. All right, I'll just get organised here. My pinpointer out. Wouldn't be a bad first find, I suppose, would it? $1 or $2 coin. It's in the right number range, that's for sure. How about that, guys? First find with a Manticore is a $2 coin. What are the chances of that? Pretty good. It's pretty worn. Been there a little while. But this beach has got a lot of erosion. You can see how high the banks are. They're trying to protect those dunes. They've got signs along there saying don't go up on the dunes. So I won't do that, but that would be a good spot to try. But I'll follow those signs. I won't do the wrong thing. And I've only got a narrow strip of beach to detect on here at the moment. It's about maybe 7 or 8 metres wide, that stretch between the water and the bottom of the dunes. So we'll just work our way all the way along. Won't take too long at this rate, and we'll see what we get. Okay, back soon. So there's an interesting target here that sounds a bit different to the first two, and it's very deep as well. So I'm interested in anything deep, and that's one of the reasons why I got the Manticore, was I'm hoping to get deeper on the beach, as I'm sure most people are with one of these. So it's a 27 up to 36 kind of signal. You can see on the display that it's not a circular object necessarily, it's elongated, oval, and it's not right on the ferrous line either, it's just below it. So these are the kinds of targets I'm interested to dig, because I want to get to know what they actually are, what that means. It's repeatable. So I'll dig that one up and I'll show you guys what that is, but that's an interesting target. Let's check it out. So I'm down to the target. I'm about pinpointed depth down. It's just there. Haven't seen it yet. So the target depth is at this point similar to the Equinox. This is probably as deep as the Equinox. 800 would allow me to search, but I'm sure I could go deeper with this. And here's the object here. There's a pull tab. Yeah, okay, so the shape wasn't round. It was more elongated, so maybe that's something to look for. And the number was, I think, low 30s, so that's good. Good depth, happy with that. You've got to dig these things to work out what they are, don't you? So let's keep working on that and keep searching. Here's another target, very low number, 8-9, but you can see from the ferrous line, it is on the ferrous line, and it's circular, so I'm going to take a stab at that. It's going to be foil or something, but you know, I might be pleasantly surprised. But yeah, that's very low, because the Manticore goes up to 100, so an 8 or a 9 is, you know, that's equivalent to 1 or something probably, or not even that, I don't know, on the 800. So this is part of getting to know the signals, isn't it? So let's dig this one up, see what we get. As a 9 on the ferrous line with a almost circular shape to it. I think I'm in the right spot. Yep, here we go, it's just there. I'm obviously expecting it to be rubbish with those kinds of numbers, but it's all part of the learning experience. Yep, so it's a bit of, I don't know, is it lead? No, it's not lead. Yeah, I think it is lead. Very, very thin piece of lead, circular, kind of strange. I don't know what that would have been off at some point. It's been useful, but that's okay. Still worth investigating. Cool. Okay, let's keep searching and see what else we got. Well, right next to that piece of lead, which looked pretty old, so that's encouraging. It is an old beach. I'm hoping there might be something old here. But right next to that, I've got what looks like a coin signal. 83, 84, that's right in the sweet spot for a gold coin, Australian gold coin. Right there. So that's going to hopefully be another $2 coin, which should be good. Certainly picks up on the targets. It makes you know. It's very, very definite about targets. I have had a couple of little signals that kind of disappeared on me, but hey, you're going to get that at the beach, right? right there somewhere. Where is it? There we go. $2. Another one. It hits the coins pretty hard. You definitely know they're there. There's something there, which is great on the beach. You want to hear that. But what I really would like to know is how it goes with deep, really deep coins. Haven't found anything too deep yet, so let's keep hunting and see what else we can get. Hopefully there's some deeper stuff that will really test the machine out. I'm happy with that though. Here's another low target. 17, 16, 17. Again, it's on the ferrous line, non-ferrous line, and it's circular. So we'll definitely check that. About there. Okay. I'm just getting to know the sounds. I have just, as I said earlier, gone with defaults at this stage, so I'll fine tune it as I go, as I get used to it. It's just down there. Those low numbers again. Not expecting anything amazing. I think it's another piece of that same kind of aluminium, burnt aluminium or whatever it was that I found just before. So that's typical of those numbers. Even with the Equinox 800, would have been the same kind of thing. It would have been low. And I can discriminate these numbers out later on once I get the hang of things, which I will. But right now I'm just going to leave it wide open. Now there's a signal here in the wet sand. Sounds like that. And it's just on the ferrous line, but it's not a regular round shape. It's kind of an irregular shape. It is repeatable though. So I'll dig that up and we'll see what we get. Okay, so the target's out. It was out pretty early on, I just missed it. Over here somewhere. I think it's very small, whatever it is. If I can even find it. I think it's a tiny, here it is. It's the tiniest piece of something. Maybe you can see it there. Don't even know what that is. You know what? It could be a link off a watch band or something. Well, that's pretty wild. All right, let's keep searching and see if there's anything else. Okay, guys, so this one has me confused. I'm going to recreate the find because I have already dug it up. I'm not going to lie. I don't know exactly what it is though. I know it's, well, it looks like a coin of some sort, but I don't actually know what coin. But the numbers are just weird, and it doesn't sound good. And it's not even on the non-ferrous, like it's way down there. That there might be the coin. There could be some other things near it. Maybe that's what's throwing it off. But I got some 40 numbers initially, and see here how they're kind of just on the ferrous line. It's a very odd signal, and yeah, I don't know why it sounds that way if it's a coin. But that's okay. I'm going to dig this up again just to show you. I wanted to cover it with sand so you could hear what it actually sounded like before I dug it up. But anyway, let's get down to it again. And I'll... here we go. It's there somewhere. So like I say, it is a coin. Well, I think it's a coin. Maybe it's not a coin. Certainly looks like one, right? It's got the reeded edge. It's about the size of a 10-cent piece, but well, it's a bit bigger than that. I don't know what this is. All right, let me clean it off. Okay, mystery solved. It's a Canadian coin. It's a 25-cent Canadian coin, which also has Queen Elizabeth II on it, like Australian coins do, which threw me off a bit. I knew it wasn't silver, it wasn't ringing up high enough for that. Can't see a year just at the moment, but that's pretty cool. It is starting to rust, so I imagine these coins are clad, like the American ones, they ring up quite low, maybe. It's ringing up very low compared to a 10-cent piece, for example. Anyway, that's kind of cool. I might check this hole more because I think there's more than one object in there. That's the only reason I can think of for the signal. Let's just put the coin on the ground over there on its own, and we'll just swing over it and see what it sounds like compared to what it actually sounded like down in the hole. Ah, look at that. Sounds horrible. I don't know what that coin's made of, but the detector doesn't go much on it. That's very interesting. Okay, let's check the hole, see if there's anything else in there. See if there's any other signals in there besides that one. No, quiet. Nothing else there. Yeah, well, that's interesting, isn't it? I wouldn't have expected that with a coin of any kind. I might actually swing the Equinox over that later just to see what it does and how it compares. Anyway, interesting stuff. Let's keep going. Shallow, very shallow signal here, guys. To 910, and it's definitely on the non-ferrous line this time. So that's interesting. Again, those numbers quite low. I would have thought that rings and things like that will be in the 20 to 40 kind of band typically. Like with the Equinox, they were, generally between 6 and 20, I guess. Pretty wide range, I know, but that's just helps me kind of get my head around it, comparing it to the Equinox numbers. That's another piece of this. I don't know what that is. It's like a perforated metal of some sorts come off something. Found a couple of bits of this. But what I will say about the Manticore is when there's actually a real signal there and a real target there, it absolutely nails it every time. But yeah, sometimes there's been some ghost signals there, which is a little interesting. I'm going to have to learn about the sounds as I use this more. But that's okay, that's what it's all about. Surface target here, or a target, doesn't seem to, it's 3 bars, 17, 18, circle on the non-ferrous line. So definitely check that out. Haven't had too many signals, so I've been checking out pretty much everything, which is probably not a bad idea when you're learning a machine anyway. So we'll dig this one up. Maybe this is a 5-cent piece. Maybe. The numbers still seem a bit low for that. I'm not actually sure what a 5-cent piece would be, but I would have thought it would be higher than that. Okay, whatever it is just here. Yeah, it looks like it's a little press stud button off a jacket or coat or something. Yep. That's pretty small. It was fairly shallow though, but that's okay. It's exactly the kind of thing I expected it would be, ringing up that low with that kind of, that kind of ID, that kind of tone and that kind of image on the screen, so that makes sense. Okay, we'll go a little bit further and then we'll call it quits, I think, and I'll give you a wrap up, first impressions using the Manticore. So I'm going to make this the last dig of today, and then I'll give you a bit of a wrap up, first impressions of the Manticore. This one, repeatable, mid-60s, and it's ringing up on the 2D line, on the non-ferrous line mostly, but there is some ferrous in there too. So I'll dig this one up and I'll show you what it is. There was a 60 tone in there. Maybe it's a couple of things. Maybe it's something that's iron together with something that's not iron, that's degrading in the sand there, in the salt air or salt water. All right, I'll dig it up and I'll show you what we get. We're back soon. So I'm down to the target. It's not too deep. It's probably about 4 or 5 inches down. Just here somewhere. lost here? Okay, it's a $2 coin. Well, it didn't sound like one, that's for sure. Again, that's very strange. Like, I did get a couple of mid-60 tones initially from a certain angle, right on the non-ferrous line, but then I turned a little bit and the signal changed completely and it went, as you saw, yeah, it was not on the ferrous line. So maybe there's something else down there with it. Again, I don't know. It's all a learning experience, but that's okay. I'm glad I checked it out. What we'll do is I will just swing over it again, now that that $2 coin is gone, to see if there are any other targets in there. Let's have a listen. No, it's completely quiet. Don't know why that one would be sounding like that, unless it was on its side maybe. Because, you know, $2 coin, when it's flat, well, the other two that I found earlier today, they were as solid as you like. There was no doubt what they were. If I just put this $2 coin on the sand flat, you'll see what I mean. Like, it's not a circle because it's so shallow, but it's right on the ferrous line and it's around the 64. So, I don't know. It's all part of the learning experience, that's for sure. And I guess because I used the Equinox 800 for so long, and have used it for so long, I just know that machine inside and out. And yes, there are times when a $1 and $2 coin does not sound like a $1 and $2 coin, even with that machine. So I can't expect this one to be, you know, amazingly different. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so first impressions of the Manticore. Well, I've only been using it, this is the first hunt, 2-3 hours maximum. So obviously, you know, pretty small amount of information to go on, but this is just first impressions compared to the Equinox 800 and just, you know, in general. So the first thing is the weight of it to me is no different to the Equinox 800 with the 11-inch coil on it. I've always had the carbon fibre on my Equinox 800, so I'm sure this is lighter than the stock standard 800 because it doesn't have a carbon fibre shaft, but this one does. So yeah, it's going to be lighter than the standard machine, the Equinox 800, but it's not lighter than what I'm used to with the carbon shaft. Headphones, great, really like these. They pair and unpair within a couple of seconds to the machine, which is good for me for recording video. But the old headphones that came with the Equinox 800, they took forever to pair, and if you turned off the pairing, you know, it'd take ages to get them to pair again. So that's why I didn't use the headphones on that machine once I started using the wireless module. Downside to this is that this is all you can use. There is no Bluetooth, no general Bluetooth, so you can't just use any old Bluetooth headphones. You can't use the wireless module with it either. So if you want to use headphones, this is what you have to use. So there's that. Yeah, look, there are good and bad things about this machine, I think, first impression wise, that is at least. Every time I hit a target, it let me know about the target straight away. So it's not missing targets, that's for sure. And, you know, I can fine tune all of that, which is what I did with the 800. But there were some fluky signals there. There were some ghost signals, if you want to call them that. So I'd swing, the signal would be there, I'd go back to try and find it, and it wouldn't be there. And that happened a lot. Now that could be, again, a setting thing. Could be you had the sensitivity a little bit too high in this area. It could be that I have got my phone with me. I turned Bluetooth off, but I was receiving messages and phone calls, so, you know, maybe that was causing it, but I couldn't see any direct correlation between when I was getting a message and when the machine was giving one of these ghost signals. So that's just, you know, use it more, find out more about it type thing. I was just using Beach General. I did briefly switch to Beach Deep and Beach Surf in the wet sand. Yeah, I don't know. They're probably good settings. I don't know how often I'll switch to those. I think Beach General is probably going to be what I'll use most of the time, but I will experiment. And I'd be keen to experiment with this machine, obviously in high trash areas with the small coil, because that'll be good to see. But yeah, I like it. Feels good. It's a good machine. It's well made machine, and I'm hoping that I'll find more with it. I didn't really find anything that deep today, which is what I was hoping to find. A few small, very small items, but nothing very, very deep. So But the interesting thing for me, the most interesting thing, was that fluky Canadian 25-cent piece. Just didn't sound like a coin at all, and neither did that last $2 coin. And maybe that's because they were on their side, I don't know, but that Canadian coin just didn't sound like a coin at all, and the $2 coin sounded very little like a $2 coin, so that's more or less what I reckon anyway. Okay, so definitely looking forward to using the machine more, learning more about it. I think it's got a lot going for it, but I think it's going to take me quite a lot of time to become comfortable with it. I mean, I've searched with the Equinox 800 for thousands of hours, so I can't really compare it to that yet, can I? It's not a fair comparison. But yeah, my first swing with it, I'm pretty happy with it, and looking forward to finding some cool stuff. I'm really looking forward to that small coil though. I don't think there's a 6-inch coil coming out for this machine. I think it's going to be, I think it's a 8x5 maybe, but that's okay. That'll work well too in the bush areas that I like to hunt, so I'm looking forward to getting that coil. And I'll make some adjustments to the settings. As I make more adjustments to the settings and they work for me, I'll share them with you so you can try them for yourselves. But that's going to be it for today. First swing, pretty happy. We'll get back out here and try it again and see how we go. So thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. If you got something out of it, please leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks guys. Happy hunting.
You're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I